Hi, I'm certified life coach Dewan J of the High Vibrations Only platform. What you're about to watch is an open coaching session that was actually filmed on TikTok. I pray that the information in the video that you're about to watch will inform, inspire, and ignite you to become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so that you're abreast of all future content coming from you. I'll see you in there. Let's go. Welcome to the the brand new series, Trust the Transition. Now, in life, we encounter things, right? We encounter strife, we encounter stress, we encounter depression, anxiety, we encounter things that are major. Oh, let's go, contributing to the live goal. My twin is in the building. Listen, for those of y'all who come here and Miss Mims, what's happening, love? For those of y'all who come here and you see, when you hear me refer to myself as a 5'3.5", blonde haired, blue eyed woman, my twin is in the chat. TT, welcome in. So in life, we encounter so many different things. We encounter responsibility. We encounter past trauma, past pain, stress, responsibilities. You name it, and it comes our way. We encounter breakups. We encounter heartbreak, heartache. We encounter all of these things, and when we encounter these things, it marks a change. Famous, what's happening, my guy? It marks significant change. Now, a lot of us fear this change. A lot of us look at this change with anxiety. A lot of us look at this change as if it were a bad thing. But might I submit to you today that change happens because of growth? Change happens when it's time to elevate. A lot of us look at this as if life as we know it is changing, and it is, but it doesn't always have to be bad. When we deal with transition, it is what you make it. It happens to us, and how we respond determines everything. So, in this series, we're going to be challenging your belief system. In this series, where exactly change is necessary. In this series, we're going to be battling your preconceived notions. In this series, we're going to be battling your heartbreak, your depression. We're going to be battling the things that we once feared. Let me caution you, and this will be the only trigger warning that you're going to get the entire series long. This series is going to be uncomfortable. This series is going to cause some tears. This series is going to challenge everything that you thought you knew about yourself. This series is going to challenge the way that you live life as you know it. Greatness, what's up, dude? It's going to challenge everything that you thought that you knew, and it's designed to do that because we must come to a place where we're embracing and trusting the transition. It's amazing to me how we can quote, God is in control of everything. We can quote, everything is positive. We can quote, positive vibes only. We can quote scripture, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We can quote these things, but we don't live it. Because when it comes time to elevate, when it comes time to take on a different perspective, when it comes time to take on a different mindset and shift our perspective and shift our focus to the next level, we don't trust the transition. So as a result of that, we continue to recycle the same patterns. We continue to fall for the same type of swagger that we fell for last time. We continue to be tempted by the same things that we were tempted last time. We continue to repeat the same patterns over and over again because we don't trust the transition to take us to the next level. This series is going to challenge all of that. This series is going to cause you to open up your mind. This series is going to cause you to trust the transition. Now, today, episode one, or video one, conversation one, what I'd like to do is to set the framework for what this series is going to do. We're going to go into this with open hearts and open minds. And if you continue to come in here, you have no choice. This is supposed to be uncomfortable. This is supposed to offend. And it's supposed to do that because without the opposition, we run the risk of being locked in an echo chamber. Without opposing views, without me challenging or somebody challenging your belief system, then you would never elevate. Shane, what's happening? Now, there's going to be a lot of Tim's scuffed. Okay. There's going to be a lot of red bottom stepped on. There's going to be some tears, but we're going to get through this together. She said, change be scary to me. Change is scary. Change is scary. But we're going to combat that. Last series, I equipped you to fight. Last series, I equipped you to fight. We declared that we were going to fight. But in order to get there, we must go from a trainee to a professional. It's change. Divorce is a change. Learning my value is a change. Learning that I am worthy and that I add value to this planet is a change. Cutting off toxic friends, change. Cutting off toxic family, change. Boundaries, change. Growth, change. So what I'd like to happen is for us to open our minds. I'd like for us to open our minds, and I'd like for us to open our minds, open our hearts, and get ready to trust the transition. Eagles have the longest lifespan of any bird. But in order for the eagle to get the maximum potential out of its life, Claudia, what's happening? In order for the eagle to get the maximum lifespan possible, and the lifespan of an eagle is 70 years, but in order for that to happen, there has to be a decision that's made. Okay, now what happens is around year 40, eagles have to make a decision, and they either choose right or they choose wrong. And if the eagle chooses the wrong decision, they literally die. They have to make a decision to transform. They have to make a decision to transition. In the 40th year of an eagle, it takes the beaks are then bent from life and eating. The talons don't work anymore, so they can't grasp the prey that they need to grasp in order to be properly nourished. Now, in our lives, when we start to repeat patterns, when we outgrow friends, when we outgrow family, when we outgrow situations, when we outgrow dead-end jobs, it's at that point we have to make this decision. Because every day that you're not choosing to live, you are choosing death. Oh, coach, come on, it ain't that serious, but it is. It is. And it's serious to the point that every day that you stay in that abusive relationship, you're killing your trust. Every day that you stay in that manipulative situation with those toxic friends, you're killing your self-worth. You're killing your value. Every day that you allow people to down talk your dreams, you are killing your confidence. Every day that you look in the mirror and you say to yourself that I'm not sure that I can do this, you're killing your potential. And what this series is designed to do is to wake you up and tell you that change is not bad. Transition is not bad. In fact, you should be welcoming transition because every piece of nature has the transition, right? We're going to talk about this next week, but during the seasons, the trees transition. The plants transition. Snakes shed skin. Dogs shed fur. By the end of this series, we're no longer going to be comfortable being comfortable. Let's go with the heart means I appreciate you. Empress Empowerment, what's happening? By the end of the series, we're going to be welcoming change because we're equipped to fight it. So these eagles have to make this decision. And what these eagles have to do is they have to go up to a mountain, to their nest. And they begin to beat their beaks against rocks until the beak falls out. Quick note, watch your mouth. The eagles have spent so long cursing people out. The eagles have spent so long judging people verbally. The eagles have spent so long gossiping. The eagles have spent so long talking to themselves negatively that at this point, when it's time to transition for a better and a longer life, these eagles literally have to pluck their beaks out. Let me move. This is only the framework today. The eagles, after the beaks grow back, the eagles then pluck their talons out. What are you doing with your hands? What has your work ethic been like this far in your life? What have you been doing thus far in your life that has produced and yielded some results for you? So the eagles have to go up to their nest and reassess what it is that they're doing. And after the talons grow back, the eagles then begin to pluck feathers. Because the feathers of the life that they've been carrying for 40 years have begun to weigh them down, and they literally fly below their potential. What have you been carrying for way too long that costs you to live just a little bit below your potential? What have you been carrying that's weighing you down from taking maximum advantage of your flight? What have you been carrying that has, say, you look up and you pray, God, I know that life is better than this. This can't be it for me. So the eagles pluck out their feathers. And after the new feathers grow back, the eagles take what's literally called a rebirth flight. And after they take this rebirth flight, they live for 30 more years. Now, there's a few points that I'd like to pull from this eagle transition that takes place. The first thing is that the eagles, they have the longest lifespan. They have the longest lifespan. Life, according to the way that you take care of yourself, you can get the maximum potential out of life. You can live for as long as your body will carry you up, but we take some accountability. We take some responsibility for how we take care of this vessel that we've been given. We take some accountability and some responsibility for how life or how much work we can put in. If I didn't work out, but I had as many Fruity Pebbles as I normally have, my cholesterol, my blood pressure, my A1C would all rise and I wouldn't be fit to fight. If I continue smoking the cigarettes, if I continue doing the drugs, if I continue to drink, if I continue to put myself in positions, then what position am I actually in to live life and be a benefit to anybody around? We have to realize that the way that we live life is bigger than us. And that's not even the point. Put this in a point. Today's decisions affect tomorrow's destiny. Today's decisions affect tomorrow's destiny. The problem that we have in today's society, or in society in general, is that we fail to see past what we're feeling. We fail to look beyond being pissed off. We fail to look beyond heartbreak. We fail to look beyond disappointment. We fail to look beyond what is actually happening, but we're talking about an eagle here, and the eagle has a bird's eye view, and that altitude allows them to see at a greater distance than anybody. In other words, don't forget who you are. Don't forget that you had a vision. Don't forget that you had a dream. Don't forget that you were fearfully and wonderfully created to add value back to not only your household, not only your community, but the world. When we lose sight of this, we become sharp-tongued. When we lose sight of this, we develop trust issues. When we lose sight of this, we develop a desire to want to be isolated. Eagles are one of the most revered animals on the planet. They're protected by everybody. It's a sight of an amazement when people see an eagle because these things are so precious. They're so regal. Don't call yourself a king or a queen if you can't remember who you are. Don't say, so you can keep all your grand risings, you can keep all your kings and all your queenship and all of this that you want to if I don't see this for myself. Because I make an active decision to not look beyond what happens when I'm mad. I fail to recognize what happens after I'm disappointed and I need to show somebody who it is that they were talking to. When I turn toxic or when somebody does something petty towards me, I have two options. I can continue focusing on purpose and vision, or I can get petty with them. The greatest weapon that an ant creates, a lion will never know existed. The greatest weapon an ant created, a lion will never know existed. What I'm saying is we can't forget who we are because we can't see past emotion or because we can't push past pain. It can't be done. And when we do this, it's because we have lost sight of where it is that we're actually going. And this happens because we're comfortable here. This happens because I have a reputation to protect. This happens because I'm a G and you're not going to talk to me like that. This happens because I'm a boss and you're not going to talk to me like that. This happens because I get triggered because mommy used to talk to me like this when she should have been empowering me. She was destroying my dreams. This happens because my grandparents told me that I would never amount to nothing. This happens because my uncles didn't expect anything more from me than being arrested and becoming another statistic. I lose sight of who I am. And now that I've got a little bit of accountability, now that I've got some responsibility, now that I've grown up a little bit, when somebody else talks to me like that, it triggers that because I lose sight of who I am. Because I can't see past the trigger. Because I can't see past the emotions. Because I can't see that I'm worth way more than this situation is presenting to me. Today's decisions affect tomorrow's destiny. I should be writing paragraphs in my book. I should be writing my autobiography. I should be buying equipment for the podcast. I should be studying for my real estate exam. I should be studying for my dissertation so that I can go to nursing school. I should be writing the papers that I'm supposed to write to get me the degree that qualifies me for the business. I should be writing a grant proposal. I should be looking for investors, but instead I'm arguing on TikTok. What am I doing? What am I doing? The truth of the matter is the decision that I made today affects what happens tomorrow. Just because you decide to get petty today, just because you decide to have a lapse in judgment, just because I decide that I need to show somebody who I am, just because I need to show somebody that you can't talk to me like that, just because I need to show somebody, what I'm doing is I'm taking my eye off of what my vision is. Today's decisions affect tomorrow's destiny. The BM is in the building. What's happening? The second thing I want to pull out of there, it's the 40th year that the eagle's beak and talons begin to bend, where they can no longer grab the things that are nourishing them. It's in the 40th year that the wings begin to get heavier. It's in the 40th year that the feathers are starting to weigh it down. Put this in a point. When I'm no longer nourished, I need to do something that's against my current nature. When I'm no longer nourished, I need to do something that's against my current nature. This is critical. This is crucial because my current nature is what led me to the situation that I'm in. My current nature is what allowed people to pull on my heartstrings. My current nature is what allows me to be taken advantage of. My current nature to turn the other cheek and to be kind is what allows people to think they can talk to me any way that they can. My current nature is what has me with a lack of boundaries. My current nature is what has me living a mediocre lifestyle. My current nature is what has me lackadaisical. My current nature is a procrastinator. My current nature is an overthinker. My current nature says that you can cheat on me how many ever times that you want to, and I'm not going to do anything except for say, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have driven you to the arms of the other woman. What? My current nature has me sleeping, hopping from bed to bed, to bed to bed, because I feel empty on the inside. So only physically is the only time that I feel anything. My current nature says that. But when these things are no longer nourishing you, in other words, when these things are no longer reaching up and they're no longer filling you, they're no longer building you up, they're no longer repairing muscles, they're no longer providing you the vitamins and the minerals that you need to succeed and thrive. Once these things are no longer nourishing you, I must change what I view as current nature. I have to challenge my status quo. I have to challenge what I believe to be true. I have to sit down and journal. I have to pray. I have to fast. I have to meditate, whatever your belief system is at this point. I have to sit down and have a legit conversation with self, a legit conversation for those that claim to love me. I have to sit down and evaluate this. I have to do what's called a value stream analysis, where I'm looking at what's adding value and what's not. And I have to start to have difficult conversations with people and situations around me, because if I'm not doing that and I'm not challenging my way of thinking, I am literally sentencing myself to death. Is that real? I have to sit down because my current state, and what I mean by nature, is what you default to, right? What you default to. Now, nature, right? The word innate, right, comes out of nature, right? And when I accept things the way that they are, with no desire to get better, because I've forgotten who I was, because I forgot who I am, because I forgot what boundaries look like. I have to challenge what I view as current nature. When we look around and we start to look at, when we get tired of swiping left on Twitter because all these people present red flags, when we get tired of hanging out at bars because I need to be sober minded when I'm making a decision for my future, when we get tired of hanging out with family members who don't believe. I opened a boutique years ago. You're asking me how my little business is doing. Well, when's the last time that you bought something and didn't ask me for a discount? We have to challenge what we know as nature. And this requires transition. And this is why a lot of us don't do it. Because it's uncomfortable. The conversations that ensue are uncomfortable. The conversations that have to come from this are uncomfortable. The loneliness that's going to come from this is uncomfortable. The feeling of being around people that can't relate is uncomfortable. I don't want to have the difficult conversations because things were good the way that they were. I don't want to grow. I don't want to set any boundaries because I might hurt somebody else's feelings. You are in a very dangerous place in your life when other people's happiness comes before yours. You're in a very dangerous place when you're choosing another adult's happiness over yours. Thank you for the follow. You're in a very dangerous place when I've called you 4 times today and I've only gotten two responses back. I wanted to talk to you and I wanted to spend some time, and I get it that you're busy, but you were over at your friend's house playing the Xbox and instead of coming to build this relationship better. You were out to lunch with your work wife. Uh-oh. You were out to lunch with your work husband. Uh-oh. You were scrolling TikTok. You were posting cute pictures for Snapchat instead of fostering what it is that we have here. Instead of building a relationship instead of fostering what it is that we're trying to nourish. We are in a place. Thank you guys for the follows. We are in a place where I have to begin to set boundaries. I have to begin to prioritize what's important. Because if I'm not doing that, if I'm not prioritizing, if I'm not placing myself and my happiness first, then I'll let anybody walk all over me. And let me prove it. Because if I don't know what I find funny, I can't tell you what I find funny. If I don't know where my hard boundaries are, I can't tell you where my boundaries are. If I don't know what my deal breakers are, I can't tell you what my deal breakers are. So the reason that we lack boundaries, the reason that we lack the ability to set boundaries is because we don't know where to place them, because we've gotten lost, because we've forgotten who we are. Let me move. Let me move. This is just a framework. This is just a framework. Okay. This is just a framework. Okay. So this process for the eagle, this process, it lasts about 5 months. Okay. This process lasts 5 months. And I need you to put this in a point, right? The process requires for the eagle to fly to the top of the mountain, right? And it beats its beak against the wall, so it's going to watch how it's talking, not only to itself, but to other people. It's going to pluck its talons out to ensure that it has fresh hands to be able to do the work necessary to take this on. It's going to take out feathers that were weighing it down. What's weighing you down today? What's weighing you down today? Is it lack of confidence? Is it external validation? Is it gossip? Is it rumors? Is it backstabbing? Is it the fact that I sleep next to my biggest op? Is it the fact that my ex told me that I'd never find anybody better than them and I believed them? Is it stress from having to run a household when I was committed and I decided to have a child for this person that was supposed to be my person, and that person decided to ghost me? So now I have to be mom and dad. What's holding you down today? Is it lack of a support system? When people only tell you what they want you to hear or what they think that you want to hear so that you will do things for them? Am I surrounded by self-serving people who only want to see me smile because they know that I'm going to do something for them as a result of that? Am I surrounded by people that like to hear my take on a particular story? One of the worst people in the world to have inside of your circle is somebody who wasn't there but always hears what happens. Because this person is too concerned with the affairs of others to worry about their own. So the eagle, it plucks. It plucks. But look at what happens, okay? The eagle doesn't go anywhere low where it can continue to be attacked. The eagle doesn't go anywhere where someone may try and step on it or try and shoot it or try and do more damage to it than it's about to do to itself. The eagle goes to the top of the mountain. Put this in a point. Transitions should take place from a place of triumph. Transitions should take place from a place of triumph. What I'm about to say to you right now is a strange mindset, but I promise you it works 10 out of 10 times. If you find yourself where you're getting ready to separate from a situation, where you're getting ready to, where you're getting ready to separate from a situation or a group of people or a person, we have to switch our perspective to find some gratitude for that situation. Check this out. If I'm getting ready to break up and I'm carrying the weight of the relationship with me, when I enter into something else, the person or the situation that's coming still has to combat what I was just dealing with. Instead of saying, hey, and I'm not intending for this to be easy. I'm not intending for this to be easy. It's not going to be easy. There's a little bit of anxiety that comes with the conversation. But the next time that I'm breaking up, hey, you know what? This ain't working for me no more. I thank you for telling me where I need to place boundaries. I thank you for telling me or giving me signs to watch out for about being cheated on. I thank you for showing me what disbelief in my dream and my vision look like. Thank you for showing me these things. And when we leave with that place of gratitude, we go into the next situation optimistic. I don't have to battle trust issues for as long. I don't have to battle disappointment for as long. I don't have to battle the feeling of wanting to be alone for so long. I don't have to battle these things because I was able to shift my perspective because I have faith in the transition. I get excited about the transition. I begin to welcome the transition because I know that growth is happening and I know that this is going to give me some resilience. I know that this is going to give me some mental toughness. I know that this is going to give me tools to place in my toolbox to be better going forward. Not for anybody else, not for another person, but for myself. I'm not worried about who's coming next. I don't even care if there is a next. But based off of what we just went through, I'm going to be better for myself. Based off of what we just went through, I'm going to be stronger for myself. Based off of what we just went through, I'm going to be more resilient for myself. I'm going to be more confident in myself. So now I don't need your external validations. I don't care how many thirst traps I posted that only get one like. Uh-oh. I don't care how many times I gotta be baby oiled up looking in the camera. Ladies, y'all see these dudes on TikTok with the Chris Brown. Bring it over to my bed. Y'all see them. 2 likes on the post. But now somebody's depressed because they didn't take a position of gratitude. They didn't take a position of wanting to learn something. They were relying on the hearts going up the screen for that. They were relying on the compliments or in the comments for that. Because that external validation filled the void from missing that person. It filled the void of the lesson that they didn't learn. It filled the void of, watch this, self-love. Transition brings fear because of lack of confidence in self. I'm not sure that I'm smart enough. I'm not sure that I'm not sure that I'm worthy. I'm not sure that I can do this because I forgot about all of the victories that I stacked along the way. I forgot that I've encountered problems that are bigger than this along the way. I've forgotten that I've beaten things of similar magnitudes before. I forgot that people doubted me before and I won. I forgot that that validation hasn't stopped me from this far in my life. I forgot that I found my voice. I forgot that I can speak. I forget that my words have weight. I forget that my boundaries have gravity. I forget that I'm an eagle and I'm supposed to soar and that I choose to come down. That's a whole bar in itself. Let's go with the sub emotes. That's a whole bar by itself. I choose when to come down. Okay, let me move. Let me not get stuck there. I would love to park right there. That right there is something all in itself. But transitions should take place from a triumph or from a place of triumph, meaning that anytime that I'm getting ready to encounter, anytime that I'm getting ready to encounter a transition, anytime that I'm getting ready to encounter a change, and this change starts to bring anxiety, I can look back at the other wins. I can look back at the lessons that I learned. I can look back and see where I've won before. I can look back and see how this situation is going to make me stronger. I can look back and see, where this situation has taught me. I can look back and see how I'm more resilient. I can look back and see how my smile has returned. I can look back and see that this person literally became an option to me. I can look back and see that I don't need anything because I was born with everything that I needed to live life and live life in abundance. I can look back and see how this thing instilled some confidence in me and look back at every situation. And this is optional. I don't want to deal with this. I don't have to. I don't want to deal with this. I don't have to. I don't want to deal with this and I don't have to. I can look back from a place of triumph because now this is going to fuel my self-esteem. And that self-esteem is going to fuel some productivity, and that productivity is going to produce fruit. And it's the fruit that allows me to win. Real, what's happening, my boy? It's the fruit that allows me to win. Now, after the eagle does all of this, right? It plucks his beak out, it plucks his talons out, it plucks its feathers out. Once all of these things grow back, it takes what's called a rebirth flight. Okay, and it lives for 30 years past this rebirth flight. Put this in a point. Perception of pain predicts if I'm ready for purpose. That's nasty. That's nasty. How I perceive pain, how I perceive traumatic events, my perception or my response is going to tell me if I'm ready for what's coming next. It's going to tell me if I'm prepared for what I'm going to have to do, what I'm going to have to deal with. See, the problem that we have in today's society is that we are so caught up in what's external. We're so caught up in a bigger house, a bigger car. Let me get the bag. Let me get the red bottoms. Let me get the promotion. Let me get the good looking person who I'm not gonna post on Instagram because I don't want anybody else hollering at him, so I'm only gonna post his hand. We're so caught up in what's external that what we don't realize is that what's internal and eternal are dying. Because we failed to do the work. Sky, what's happening, love? We're so caught up in what's external and what people think and what people perceive and what people are going to say and what drama we're going to have to encounter by setting boundaries, what we're going to lose or who we're going to lose as a result of setting boundaries. We're so caught up in the external that we neglect what's internal and eternal. Legacy. Canada's greatest export is in the chat. Shauna, what's happening? Legacy, lineage, the breaking of generational curses all come from within. They all come from within. They all come from mindset. They all come from intellect. They all come from compassion. They all come from passion. They all come from the fury and the fire that is burning within you to do something great. They all come from the burning desire to heal my family. I saw my mama get cheated on by every man she dated, but it stops with me. I saw my daddy womanize many women, but it stops with me. This all comes from something internal. It doesn't matter how many watches I have. It doesn't matter how many books I sell. It doesn't matter how many downloads and views my podcast get. It doesn't matter what type of car I drive or the type of house that I live in. All of this stuff passes away. I live in California. An earthquake can literally take all this away from me. 10 seconds. Greatness, I see you down there. Oh, 10 seconds and this could all be gone. But what about what I'm teaching the next generation? What about the wisdom and the life lessons that I'm imparting on the next generation? Kai, what's happening? What about what my hands are doing that's bigger than me? What am I adding to the world? What am I adding? Oh man, I can't do nothing, man, because ain't nobody willing to help me out. Man, I opened the grocery store and don't nobody shop with me. I want to do the right thing, man, but there's something about it that keeps pulling me. Girl, I did not mean to pick up that text message from that dude at 2:13, because at 2:45 I was crying again. Girl, I'm about to go on this girls trip, and just because Steve ain't acting right, I'm gonna find somebody named Simon, I'm about to get me some get back. Toxic. It's toxic because I'm concerned with what my friends think of my reputation. Because I'm concerned with my friends thinking if I'm a man or not. Because I'm concerned about what's going on around me. I'm concerned with how I'm going to look on the internet. I'm concerned because truth be told, I got into this relationship that I shouldn't have gotten in. But I got into this relationship because I needed to fill this void that I felt on the inside. Next thing you know, I tripped, I fell in love, and now I posted engagement pics, and now he did what with who? For what? Now I got to preserve my reputation. I got into a relationship that I shouldn't have gotten into because I truthfully don't know how to. I truthfully don't know how to nurture children. I can teach them how to be a man all day long. So I'm going to get into a relationship with the first nice church girl that I see. I posted the engagement pictures. I introduced her to my mom. My mom told me about it. My friends told me about her. The 3 dudes that she slept with before me told me about her. And I didn't listen because I needed desperately to feel something. And now I'm concerned. I get frustrated. I get disappointed. I get heartbroken. And all of a sudden, all men are trash. All of a sudden, all women are gold diggers. All women are 304s. All of a sudden, I don't really have any friends. I got a small circle because I cut everybody else off because I'm holding everybody else responsible for what that person did, or I'm holding everybody else responsible for a boundary that I didn't set. Y'all want to talk about it? I'm holding somebody else responsible for things and decisions that I made when the truth of the matter is I knew. My intuition told me. That gut feeling told me. The Holy Spirit told me that this was a bad decision. I felt uncomfortable. But because I'm concerned with what other people are going to say about my breakup, because I'm concerned with what other people are going to say when I walk away from this friend circle, because I'm concerned with what the internet is going to say when I need to take a mental health day off of TikTok. I do too many walks of shame. I do too many apology tours because my response to my pain is poison. My response to pain is to get toxic, is to get petty and poison everything around me. And now I'm trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Now I'm trying to figure out how to stop this hamster wheel from spinning. I'm trying to figure out how to climb out of this pit. I'm trying to figure out, but I've literally poisoned everything I've touched up to this point. But guess what? In order for you to change, in order for you to decide to fight, you have to trust the transition. I have to trust the transition. What's up, everybody? Welcome in. I have to get to a place where I'm looking towards what's coming. I have to get to a place where I'm looking forward to what's coming. When we allow the status quo to remain the situation, sadness ensues. Let me move. Let's define our terms. Okay. Transition. The process or period of changing from one state or condition to another. The process or period of changing from one state or condition to another. Put this in a point. My future has a formula. Today's topic inside of this Trust the Transition series is the transition of weight. The transition of weight. Okay. Let's look at how to calculate weight. Weight is calculated. Weight equals mass times gravity. Okay. Mass times gravity. Now, when you start to break down this formula, the weight that I need to transition is my mass times gravity. Mass. What am I carrying? What am I carrying? How much do my responsibilities weigh? How much does me having to try and figure out bills, how much does that weigh? How much does me praying for friends in toxic relationships that I care about more than them, how much does that weigh? How much does children that don't behave weigh? How much does my obligation to my spouse, my girlfriend, or my boyfriend weigh? What am I carrying? I have to begin to transition some of this. I have to begin to put these things in their proper place and in their proper swim lanes. Just because you are built and are able to carry something doesn't mean that you should be. Bills are due. Papers are due. Promotions are deserved and warranted. And all these things weigh on my mind. Just because I have the ability to carry these things, it doesn't mean that I should. There are tools, there are instruments, there are helpers to help us carry these things. And this is why it's important to surround yourself with the right support system. This is why it's important to streamline and vet everybody that comes into your life that has an ability to make an impact on your decision making. This is why it's important to know your voice and the voice of your source, right? Tree, turtle, God, karma, universe, whatever it is that you believe in. It's important that you have a direct line to what it is that you believe in, because there's going to be people watching. There's going to be people commenting. There's going to be people spectating. And if you are not connected to the voice of your belief system, if you are not connected to the voice of God himself, what you're going to do is you're going to start to substitute his voice for their voice. You're going to start to substitute his voice for that voice of doubt. You're going to substitute that voice for the voice of your homegirl. Girl, if I was you, well, you're not. You can stop that line of conversation right now. Man, if I was you, I would have. No. We're not doing that. I have to be very strategic about what I'm carrying and in what fashion I'm carrying it. We have to get to a place where if we're not carrying the weight properly, my back begins to hurt. My hips begin to hurt. I need knee replacement surgery. I start to get plantar fasciitis. I start to get shin splints if I'm not carrying the weight in its proper fashion. So what's important that we do is we have to look at, write down, map out all of the things that we're carrying and why we're carrying these things. Why am I carrying this? Is there a more efficient way to carry it? Why walk with my arms full when they make bags? Why carry a handful of stuff when I can put it in a backpack? Why would I carry a baby all around Disney World when they make a stroller? What am I carrying and how am I carrying it? It's time to start to transition the weight. And by transition, I'm not saying that you're getting rid of it. I'm not saying that it's going anywhere, because a lot of these are lifelong responsibilities, right? These are ways of life for a lot of us, but it's time to start to transition how we carry this weight and what weight do we allow it to carry. Oh, that's a bar. It's time for us to start transitioning what weight we're carrying and the way that we carry it. Cams, what's happening? Tiffany, what's happening? Royalty, what's up? Welcome in. The gravity piece. Gravity is what you're concerned about. For the eagle, it was the feathers that impacted its gravity. When we talk gravity for us, we're talking, what am I concerned about? Because it's not just about our current responsibilities. It's also about the past. It's also about learned behavior. It's also about conditions. It's also about what people tell us, where we put stock, whose voice we're listening to, Whose perspective are we listening to? It's about what weighs on our mind. This is what weighs us down. We have come to a place now where, because we are equipped to fight, that's going to tell me that we are mindful. That we are mindful of the things that we're carrying. We're mindful of the things that people say to us and the things that we say to people. I don't want to hear you talking about yourself negatively in front of me. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm going to correct you. I don't want to hear you talking negatively to me. You can keep your backhanded compliments. I'd rather you not say anything at all. You can keep going tit for tat with me, saying that I owe you something because you did this for me. You can keep, are you crazy? You can keep that comment. You can keep, you're not going to do that. Nobody has ever done that. Exactly. Nobody else has ever been me. You can keep, nobody has ever succeeded at this business. Nobody's ever been me. You can keep, if I were you, comments. Because the only thing that that's doing, every time that happens, it's like my brain being punched. Every time that I get a compliment like that or a comment like that, it's like my heart being punched. And when I look and I said to myself that I am ready to fight, I am fit to fight, I look in the transition in the face and I am starting to welcome this transition. Why? Because I know that it's going to be a process. I know that it's going to be an arduous process. I don't know what to expect in this process, but all I do know is that I'm tired of being doubted. I'm tired of being discounted. I'm tired of being counted out. I'm tired of being a mental and emotional punching bag. I am tired of people walking over me and walking over my voice as if it didn't exist. I am tired of it. So now I'm looking to change some things. I'm looking to transition some things. And in order for that to happen, I must first embrace that transition must take place. Trust the transition. I have to get some of this stuff up off of me. I can't continue. I can't continue to be the person that everybody expects me to be. This weighs on me. I can't continue to be the fun-loving person when I'm dying on the inside. I can't expect to be the source of your laughter when on the inside all I feel like is crying. I can't expect to be the life of the party I really don't even like the people that are here. I can't expect to be the source of your gossip and the source of your rumors. Hey, come laugh with us. Come out for a drink. Come tell us what you got going on. No, thank you. I can't continue to be this. And in order for me to walk in that fullness, there has to be a transition. A transition that I trust is going to lead me to a better place. A transition that I trust is going to take me higher. A transition that's going to allow me to transcend my current situation. Dribbles, what's up? Welcome in. I can't. Even if that person is my spouse. Even if it's my mom. Even if it's my grandma, even if it's my uncles, even if it's the person who raised me, even if it's the person who claims responsibility for changing my diapers. I have to change your diapers. How could you talk to me like that? Well, I didn't ask to be here and you're an adult. Deal with it. I pay the bills in this house and all you do is da-da-da-da. I'm not the person who chose me as a spouse. You did and you knew what I was coming with. Deal with it. We have to get to a place where we're looking transition in the eye, where we're looking change in the eye. We have to get to a place where we're recognizing that everything that's happening is happening for me and not to me. And that requires a transition in mindset. So when I'm transitioning weight, your toxic relationship is no longer my concern. I'll pray for you. I'll give you a route and a method to escape. But if I'm more concerned for your safety than you are, I can't continue to pick up the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're, I don't want to get into that. Don't do it. Don't do it, Dewan. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. I can't continue to be your excuse when you're cheating on your wife. I was with DeJuan. Call him and ask him. Nah, fam. Nah, fam. I can't continue to be a better steward of your finances than you are. Hey man, ran into a situation, man. You think you got like, bro, you ain't paid me back from the last time, fam. Yeah, man, y'all just put it on the tab. She said, I wish I had a call at 3 o'clock in the morning. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's toxic. Right? What's weighing you down? What is weighing you down? Right? My weight. It's what I carry, my day-to-day responsibilities, times what's weighing me down. There are three types. There are three types of weight that has to be transitioned. Okay, put this in a point. Put this in a point. And today, listen. Today's conversation, we're just laying the framework. Next week we're going in. Okay, there are three types of weight that has to be transitioned. Put this in a point. Worry in the wrong place is the greatest weight. Worry in the wrong place is the greatest weight. Okay? There are three types of weight that has to happen or that we carry. There are three types of weight that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Okay? The first weight that we deal with is someone else's weight. Okay? The first weight that we deal with is someone else's weight. There's weight that we carry that does not belong to us. There's weight that we carry that I'm taking this on. Let me give you a practical example. I have a charge because I went out and hung out with my friend that I knew couldn't keep her mouth shut. And I knew that she was going to get into a fight, but I went to hang out with it anyway. And because we all got into a fight, I got charged with the D&D. I got charged with the A and B. My homeboy is a thief. He has a problem, and he likes to rob houses. He didn't want me to do nothing, but because I was looking out, I was conspiring to commit a felony, and now I got a charge. Let me bring it home even further. My mom didn't teach me how to be a man. Instead, she looked me in the eye and bad talked my father. So now I'm conditioned to think that when I'm not being the man that I should be, that this is per usual. My dad didn't necessarily tell me that I'm supposed to hold women in a high regard, or that I'm supposed to hold people or humanity in a high regard. And as a result, I do and say what I think that I am supposed to or what I want to other people. And as a result of that, people look at me as toxic. I've seen my uncle do drugs. So I didn't really see any harm in it because he lived to be 56, 60. So I didn't really see any harm in it because nobody pulled me to the side. The weight that I'm carrying are generational curses. The weight that I carry is lack of proper education. And when I say proper education, I'm talking about in the streets, not in the schoolhouse. When the weight that I carry that belongs to somebody else is when I can't talk to you, and I'm going to block you on TikTok because you have a problem with my friend who also has a problem with that friend. And we are 5 people removed and you're blocked. And I'm going to miss out on the magic of experiencing you as a human being because you're mad at somebody that's mad at you that I don't even know. The weight that I carry is I got beef. I got beef with somebody that I don't know. I got beef with a woman that I don't know because my homeboy is in love with her, but every time they have a problem, he poisons her to me. These things are not my concern. These things are not weight that I should be carrying. These things are, quite frankly, none of my business. Anytime I get into a situation where I'm minding business other than my own, I am carrying weight that I shouldn't carry. I'm carrying weight that I should not be carrying. I am carrying weight that needs to be transitioned. Anytime that I'm looking, right, at a situation and somebody's telling me about something, I have to ask, does it provide one of the three F's? Food, finances, or... Okay, y'all got that. Y'all got that, right? If you're not providing one of the three F's, it ain't none of my business. And nah, Kirby, I ain't talking about family here. Let me be clear. When it comes down to it, a lot of us take on problems that quite, look, I could care less. I was on the phone with my boy E, right? I mentioned E on these sessions before. E is my boy. I was on the phone with E, and E started telling me about some drama that was happening on a completely different app from somebody that was literally about 4,000 miles away from the way I live. And I looked at it, I was like, hey man, I love you, bro. But yeah, nah, it's a no for me, dog. I don't even want to hear no more. Because it's not that I didn't care what E was talking about. But what the conversation we were getting ready to get involved in was going to force me to formulate an opinion or a judgment on something that I didn't witness firsthand. Too many of us get dragged. Cobra, what's happening? Too many of us get dragged into situations. Too many of us get dragged into relationships. Too many of us get dragged into debt. Too many of us get dragged into self-doubt, depression, and anxiety about something that initially had nothing to do with us. It is time to transition the weight. We have to get this weight off of us. It doesn't belong to you. And truthfully speaking, the fact that we hold on, or the fact that we feel the need to weigh in, the fact that we feel the need to voice an opinion about something is quite frankly a control issue. Listen, and thank you for the follow. It's a control issue. It's an issue that says that my opinion matters. It's a need for somebody to respect and view you. So that control issue then becomes an ego issue. And then an ego issue turns into a pride issue. And then the pride issue then turns into a self-esteem issue. And that self-esteem issue then leads to anxiety and depression. I refuse to allow weight that does not belong to me to continue to let me live below my privilege. I need somebody to make that decision today. I'm talking to somebody in here right now, and I feel it. Right, I'm talking to somebody in here who's allowed the decisions, the opinions, the perspectives, the expectations of other people to continue to allow them to live below their privilege. I was meant to fly. I was meant to be a CEO, a business owner. I was meant to be a radio personality, a podcaster, a singer. But because other people have placed expectations on me, because other people's opinions weighed more to me than my own, this weight does not belong to me. So I need us to drop the weight as if everybody was walking. There was one perfect person that walked the face of this earth and they hung him. In other words, other people are going to talk. They're going to say what they want to say, but that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with my value. That has nothing to do with my worth. That has nothing to do with my purpose. That has nothing to do with my vision. And today I'm going to trust the transition, and I'm going to transition this weight back to you. I have to transition this weight back to you because it doesn't belong to me. And the longer that it stays at my house, the longer that it stays on me, the longer that it stays in my mind, the longer that I allow your voice, your values, your opinion, and your expectations to live rent-free in my head, the less of me that I'm able to display. And the less of me that I'm able to display, the less of me that I remember. And I cannot afford. My purpose can't afford. My vision can't afford. The people that are depending upon me to live life cannot afford for me to not be myself. So get out of my head. Have this weight back. Have this toxicity back. Have this gossip back. Have your acceptance. Have your fake smiles. Have your fake pat on the backs back. You can have all of this back because no longer can you live here and no longer can you live here. I don't care if I just slept with you last night. I don't care if you were sleeping next to me. I don't care if I woke up to you. It does not matter. Here's what matters. I'm going to trust the transition. I'm going to transition my mindset to being God focused or universe focused or karma focused, whatever your belief system is. I'm going to transition my life to be me focused, because the better version of myself that I am, the better that I am for everybody else, the better that I am for the situation, the better that I am for the community, the more effective that I am, the more weight that I have. I'm setting boundaries in place. You are not living rent free. So I need somebody today to decide in their mind that they're going to transition their mindset. And we're going to start to give. We're going to start to give the things that don't need to be here an eviction notice. You can't live rent free here anymore. And you don't even have 30 days to find somewhere else to live. You got to get out today. Because you're too long have I been weighed down by the weight of your opinion, by the weight of seeking your approval, by the weight of you loving me or not loving me based off of what I'm adding. Too long have I been weighed down by what your opinion of a good woman is, by what your opinion of a good man is. Too long I've been weighed down for what your opinion of a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend is. Too long have I been weighed down for what your opinion of an acceptable woman is. Too long have I been weighed down by your gender roles. Too long have I been weighed down by your social constructs. I did not come here to fit the mold, because I am 1 in 9 billion, which means that they broke the mold when they made me, just like they broke the mold when they made you. So why is it that I'm allowing what you think? Why is it that I'm allowing what the status quo is? Why is it that I'm allowing what expectations are? Why is it that I'm allowing glass ceilings to continue to weigh me down and I fly beneath my potential? Okay, let me move. The second type of weight is weight that should be shared. Weight that should be shared. Now, let me park right here and talk to the people that like to isolate. Let me talk to the arrogant people who don't need nobody. Let me talk to the people who live life based off of myself. Let me talk to the people who believe that human connection isn't a necessity. Let me talk to the people who believe that I don't need anyone or anything. Let me talk to those people, because there's certain weight in life that should be shared. Children, the weight of children, despite what you might think, despite that you've been playing mom and dad for the last 10 Christmases, despite the fact that the school takes them for literally 1/3 of the first 12 years of their life, despite the fact that everybody has an opportunity or has an opinion about how you're parenting, but they haven't managed to chip in. Smoke, what's happening? Despite the fact that I didn't raise you to be like that. I taught you better than that. Mama, unless respectfully, shut up. Unless you're volunteering to babysit, Unless you're volunteering to take on half of these finances. Unless you're volunteering to raise this child respectfully, shut up. Oh, there you go. And we have to do this, right? Because too many people too many people are allowing their relationships to be run remote control. Fellas, somebody get out the Timberland repair kit right now. Fellas, how do you call yourself the head of a household when your mama has more of a voice in your house than the woman that you share a house with? How are you calling yourself a head of a household when your father didn't like her, so now you starting to nitpick and find things that you don't like about her? Ladies, how are you calling yourself the woman of the house when every time he does something to upset you, you run and talk to your mom, and now your mom doesn't like him and y'all are cool again? So now the family gatherings are a little bit awkward. It gets a little tight. Every time you're on the phone with your mama, I knew you, girl, I'm telling you, you just better leave him. I wouldn't tolerate this. Oh, yeah? You wouldn't tolerate it? I watched my father smack you in the face for 10 years of my life. Stop allowing your relationships to be run remote control. The only way to do it is to begin to take control of your life. The only thing to do is recognize where the boundaries and the barriers are. Successful relationships have shared weight. The weight of a household is shared weight. The weight of children is shared weight. The weight of community work, helping the poor, or the less fortunate, I should say. The weight of adding value. The weight of running a successful business. The weight of living out your dreams and your vision. This is all shared weight. But what happens is that we start to let our trust issues show. I don't trust you to do it the way that I would do it, so I'm just going to do it by myself. And now I'm overwhelmed, so I end up not doing anything. Make it make sense. I have this vision and I have this dream and I need your support, but because I believe that you're going to talk to me the way that everybody else has talked to me inside of my life, I'm not going to trust you with this vision, and I'm going to try and take it on by myself, and then I'm going to question why you don't support me. Bass, what's happening? Kayla, what's up, love? My purpose requires resources. My purpose requires other people. But remember what I was talking about earlier. My current nature says to not trust. My current nature says to expect disappointment. My current nature says to expect being let down. My current nature says to take control of everything and not allow people to operate within their own gifts and talents. But the truth of the matter is in order to raise Dominic, it takes a village. I'm going to need help from his mom. I'm going to need help from the church. I'm going to need help from the nannies. I'm going to need help from his siblings. I'm going to need help from everybody on here who likes it when he comes on here and says, "What's happening?" Right? I don't know everything. So when it comes from a mothering point of view or a nurturing point of view, hey, what do you think about this? You ever seen this? Right? We can't be afraid to ask questions, because something of that magnitude, something that precious, something that great, something with that much potential is a shared weight. When it comes to where it is that I want to go, what it is that I want to do, the brand that I'm building right now. There's people that can bear witness. Hey, what do you think about this? How did you? This is shared weight. Because the minute that I began to pull it all to myself, the minute that I began to operate in a sense as if I know everything, the minute that I can't trust other people around me, the minute that actually what you're actually doing is saying that you're allowing people to be around you that you don't trust, and that's going to come up as a judgment or an intuition issue later. The second weight that has to be transferred is transfer their weight. And it gets realer than that. It gets realer than that. Watch this. Accountability is a shared weight. So many people throughout life, so many people in society, in relationships, right? They take all of the accountability. You think that it's noble to fall on the sword. You think that it's noble to take all of the accountability and give no to responsibility to the other person. I was being the bigger person. I took my share. Yeah, you took some of theirs too. There's no honor in falling on the sword. And here's where the damage comes from. Here's where the damage comes from. Because we've gotten so used to pacifying the aggressors of the situation. We've gotten so used to taking on so much accountability in our lives. We've gotten so used to manipulating our mindset to believe that everything's our fault, that when it comes time to set a boundary and hold somebody else accountable, we can't because we've forgotten how to do it. Accountability is a shared weight. Okay. This is just a framework. Okay. The third weight that weighs us down, that has to be transitioned, is the weight of our pasts. Mommy said is in the building contributing to the live goal. Thank you. The weight of our past. The weight of our past is a weight that needs to be transitioned away. It has to be transitioned away. Okay. So what tends to happen is, okay. So when I was running in football, right? For those of y'all who don't know, I had had a very stellar football career in college. I made it to the practice squad of a couple of NFL teams, and it just wasn't in the cards. But one thing that stuck with me was the way that they taught us to run. The way that they taught us to run was they teach us the fundamentals of footwork first. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Then they had coaches that come in and teach us proper strength techniques so that our feet had longevity in the game. But when it was time to work on speed and conditioning, first they'd make us run with 50-pound weight vests on. Boom, doing 20 yards, boom, 20 yards, boom, 20 yards, boom, 20 yards. Then after it got too hot in the summertime, we were doing double sessions. For the second session, they put this backpack on us, and this backpack had a parachute. And the parachute opened against the wind. So the wind was actually providing the resistance. But when you carry around your past, it works just like that parachute. It's opened in the wrong direction. Right equipment, but opened in the wrong direction. The parachute is supposed to soften your fall. Right? A parachute should work as the lessons that you learn to soften your fall from the next time. The parachute should say, hey, I'm falling from a high place. I'm playing a very dangerous game right now. Let me not hit the ground as hard as I could hit the ground, because, that could cost me my life. But they put this backpack on us, and the parachute was opening and the wind was blowing into the parachute. But check this out. When that parachute was open, I was causing the wind. That's a bar. I want to get into that. I was causing the wind. So the parachute started out on the ground flat and closed, right? Parachutes open up like this, right? But it wasn't until I started running that the resistance came. The wind that I was creating was flowing into the parachute, and that's what slowed me down. So when we carry the weight of our past, right, we're slowing ourselves down. We're running into the wind. We're headed in the right direction, but I have to be able to get this parachute off of me. I have to shed this backpack off of me, because what I'm doing is creating my own resistance for where it is that I'm trying to go. Look what happens. Look what happens. Look what happens. Look what happens. Inside of the game, right? The breakaway speed of a running back comes from using that parachute. Because once I decide to transition from the parachute to the shoulder pads, because the backpack of the parachute weighed the same as the shoulder pads, right? And the string came out, the parachute was there. Once I decided to trade in one backpack for something that's going to protect me, oh my God. Once I decided to trade in the parachute for something that was going to protect me, I was faster. And now it was a business decision to stand in front of me. When created resistance, where I generated my own resistance. I took the backpack off, something that was slowing me down on purpose, and I put on some shoulder pads. So now, not only am I not creating my own resistance, but now I'm more resilient. I can bounce off of something. The past was something that trained me for my future. And if I'm going to score a touchdown, I need to transition from this parachute to these shoulder pads and stop slowing myself down. I have to stop creating my own resistance. This weight was meant to be transitioned. I have to realize, put these shoulder pads on and realize that people are going to talk. People are going to have opinions. People are going to judge. People are going to say this. People are going to say that. People are going to have their opinions. People are going to not like me, but it does not matter because I've transitioned from training with my own resistance to something that's going to protect me. And now when I look in the mirror, I love the reflection that I see. I love the person staring back at me. I love the skin that I'm in because I know that I'm fearfully and wonderfully created. I know that I am more than a conqueror. I know that nothing standing in front of me is going to be able to prosper against me because I've not only relied on my environment, I've not only relied on my protection, but I'm now relying on my past to propel me and not be a weight to slow me down. Oh, I feel that right there. This is just a framework. This is just a framework. Let me simmer down. This is just a framework. This is, whew. Listen. Let me. I feel that. So what happens is we have to transition this weight of our past. I did. I have to transition this weight of my past because it's not doing anything for me. It's not doing anything and I'm creating it. What does that look like? That looks like me forgiving myself, me forgiving situations, me forgiving other people. Now, just because I forgive the other people and the other situations, it doesn't mean that I have to reconcile with these situations. It just means that I am closing the chapter on this. I am literally taking the backpack off of my shoulders and putting on something. And putting on something that's going to protect me. Putting on something that's going to allow me to bounce off the hits that life are going to throw. Putting on something that's going to allow me to break tackles. Putting on something that's going to help me win. But in order for that to happen, I must first believe in the equipment. I must first believe in what it is that I'm putting on. I must first believe in this new belief system. I must first believe in the new status quo. I must first believe in the person that I am. So when I look in that mirror and I say that I'm qualified enough, I'm pretty enough. When I, okay. Yeah. When we get to a place, this is just a framework. This series is going to be lit. When I transition that weight off of me, I can run freely. I'm faster than what I was with the weight. I'm stronger than what I was with the weight. And just because I'm built and I'm strong enough to carry that weight, it doesn't mean that I have to. It doesn't mean that I should. But there has to be a change in mindset that takes place. There has to be a change in heart posture that takes place. Okay. Next week, we are going to talk. We're going to talk about changing the season, transitioning the season. We're going to talk about that next week. Questions, comments, or concerns? Questions, comments, or concerns? I feel this thing right here, boy. Okay. Let me help you. Okay. There's somebody listening to me right now. There's somebody that's listening to me right now who desires change, that wants change, and you've been afraid to do it. You've had anxiety about doing it because of the perception, because of the judgment, because of the backlash, because of fear of being lonely, because of fear of not having the familiarity that you once had in your life. You want the transition today. Make that decision. Make that decision today. There has to be a transition, and you have to trust the transition is going to be for your benefit. It's going to work out for your good. There is somebody that I'm talking to right now that wants the transition. I see you. I hear you. I feel you. Somebody working on myself to do this for a relationship. There has to be a transition. There has to be. And we can't be afraid of it. We have to realize that the transition is coming, whether we like it or not, whether we trust it or not, whether we welcome it or not, whether we resist it or not. You are in a growth mindset, or a mindset of building or rebuilding. Once you come to a place where you can say, hey, this change is happening, it's going to happen, I'm just going to trust it. Once you're able to marry your will and submit, once you are willing to marry your will and submit, this is trusting the transition. You're trusting the fact that the things are happening for you and not to you. You're trusting that everything is working together for your good. You're trusting that your vibrational level is going to attract what it is that you want, that you're able to manifest what it is that you want because your will is submitted and surrendered. Okay. All right. Questions, comments, or concerns? I got to get out of here, but somebody, I'm talking to somebody right now. And I hope that, I mean, you don't got to put it in the comments. You don't have to do anything, but if you want, if this is your desire, if this is your prayer, if this is what you've been fasting, attempting to manifest, attempting to attract, if this is it, then I need you to trust the transition. I need you to get that weight up off of you. I need you to decide that you're going to drop the weight. I need you to decide to share the weight. I need you to decide to give back the weight that does not belong to you. Miss One of One, thank you for popping up. If that's you, I don't need to know about it, but make the decision today to trust the transition.